You'll shoot your eye out, kid. And with that one line, Santa obliterates a child's faith in the fairy tale fairness of the universe. That one last bastion of hope falls to the sad safety concerns of adult reality. A light boot tap to the forehead, and a boy begging for something to believe in goes sliding down into hopelessness. It's one of my favorite scenes from the well-known holiday classic, A Christmas Story. Here in the United States, the film is as much a part of the Christmas season as decorated trees, excessively illuminated houses, and the irrational conservative rancor about a war on Christmas. The movie even airs as a 24-hour marathon on certain television stations, and those who enjoy the film make it a point to watch it on and off throughout. Jump in to view a few scenes, then go about some other task before drifting back to enjoy a little more. The movie, for those who don't know, is about a young boy named Ralphie Parker. All he wants for Christmas is a Red Ryder BB gun. Specifically, a Red Ryder carbine-action 200-shot range model air rifle with a compass in the stock and this thing that tells time. His desire for it is stymied by every adult, from his parents to teachers to a killjoy St. Nick, saying you'll shoot your eye out. As such, we follow Ralphie as he powers through the season, stumbling into various other significant events as life goes on. It is to a small degree a coming-of-age story, yet it's also a heartwarming holiday charmer, and so much more. The movie is primarily based on the novel In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, by author and storyteller Jean Shepherd. Another memoir-like book by Shepherd, Wanda Hickey's Night of Golden Memories, contributed a bit as well. So did an unpublished story entitled Flick's Tongue that Shepherd mainly shared on the radio. All in all, roughly 5 short stories make up the movie's plot, and Shepherd, who made a career telling these tales, provides the voiceover throughout. Jean Shepherd grew up in Hammond, Indiana, which would provide the setting for his semi-fictional memoir. Renaming the town Homan, he took parts of his youth, amalgamating them with fiction into the stories that populate In God We Trust. The novel is very much like the film, in that a framed story serves as the means to re-enter a variety of memories. The fictional character Ralph is revisiting his hometown and spends the day with his old friend Flick, who now runs a local bar. Their conversations lead into chapters such as The Counterfeit Secret Circle Member Gets the Message and My Old Man and the Lascivious Special Award that heralded the birth of pop art. The occasionally verbose titles are surprising hooks, as they imply so much of the story therein, one can't help but wonder what details have been left out. Others, however, like Duel in the Snow, hint at very little, though fans of the film can easily guess at the content. In any event, these chapters are a compilation of radio stories Shepherd used to tell. After World War II, Jean Shepherd entered a career in radio. During the 1950s, he began sharing humorous stories about growing up as well as poetry, among other things. People enjoyed these tales so much that Shepherd's friend, poet Shel Silverstein, encouraged him to write them down. Silverstein even went so far as to transcribe broadcasts in order to get the ball rolling. He helped Jean Shepherd put them to paper, then get some published in Playboy magazine. A fitting venue, considering that once one finished jerking it to titties they'll never touch, reading tales about the disappointments of childhood must resonate more intensely. And who doesn't need a touch of humor more than some lonely chicken choker secretly smacking it in the bathroom? The extent of fact or fiction in Shepherd's tales is often debated. Though he insisted his stories were entirely fictional, I think what matters most is that they ring true. There's an authenticity to his work that resonates with people, mainly because the events described are, in many ways, universal. Shepherd's real gift is relating the emotional reaction to them. Even people who don't celebrate Christmas understand the disappointment of a child denied that one gift they truly want. Consider also this excerpt from the chapter Miss Breyfogle and the Frightening Case of the Speckle-Throated Cuckold. Already I had mastered the art of manufacturing an entire book report from 2 paragraphs selected at random, plus a careful reading of the dust jacket, a system which still earns a tidy living for many a professional reviewer today. I'm sure faking the way through school stirs memories for more than a few folks. I know I've fooled my fair share of teachers over the years. The point is, the stories, even when they deal with something as seemingly specific as Christmas, contain recognizable feelings. The sentiment of situations is something any audience can relate to. Being comedic makes it easier to coax a reader into the narrative, but once there, the audience is given more than a mere humorous series of events. These layers make it possible to appreciate Shepard's work in varying degrees. One can simply enjoy the oddball occurrences or take a dive into deeper meaning. As such, the same is true for the film adaptation. That means there's no wrong way to watch or read the material. In addition, everything is plain and to the point. For a reader, that can be refreshing, especially after a long trek through postmodernism. You don't need to have read 3 other books from 2 obscure authors and know the philosophy of Wittgenstein in order to get a seemingly offhand joke on page 1200 that ties the whole non-linear narrative together. To understand Gene Shepard's stories, you simply have to have been alive. These are stories about dealing with family, bullies, school, dating, and in the case of the grandstand passion play and the Bumpus Hounds, the trials and tribulations of having shitty neighbors. Furthermore, the movie is interesting because it not only closely adapts events from the novel, it borrows its form as well. In the style of films like Animal House or Caddyshack, A Christmas Story is more a series of vignettes than a straight-on narrative. Although Ralphie's desire for the Red Ryder rifle runs through the whole movie, we don't follow that plot constantly. Other events occur as life unfolds around him. The BB gun serves as a thread, pulling the audience back to the trail that leads to the movie's conclusion. Along the way, however, significant other events ensue. These oscillations from the through line give us insight into various characters, not to mention reminding there's more to the holiday season than simply getting gifts. Sometimes you need to beat the ever-loving shit out of a yellow-eyed vicious freak. It's these glimpses that make the movie special. They allow the viewer to develop different takes on the narrative as they get older. Growing up, one may relate to Ralphie dealing with the bully Scut Farkas and the ever-increasing disappointments of life. Then, a little older, Darren McGavin and Melinda Dillon, as Ralphie's parents, might seem more relatable. Even any appreciation for Ralphie's difficulties changes from a sense of representation that morphs over time into a source of nostalgia. It's the difference between, hey, I'm that kid too, and I remember going through that. This element of it, as a nostalgia igniter, is plain whenever the movie is watched with a group of people. Various scenes often inspire folks to share the memories stirred while watching it. This is especially true in any gathering of fans, since they've likely seen the movie enough times they almost have it memorized. The movie then acts as a conversation starter, stirring recollections about similar seasonal experiences, triple dog daring friends, and any variety of childhood memories. This is because the film, like the book, captures a feeling. The sentiment running through it is something you won't find in most Christmas features, or is so forced and artificial the mind rejects it like a bad organ transplant. I'm looking at you, Hallmark, and Love Actually, go fuck yourself. Real feelings are something very hard to capture. Plus, sentimentality is something easily mocked, especially in most modern comedies. It's easier to make fun of the season than risk the rejection of people not relating to a personal experience. Yes, there are people who don't like this movie. Also, we didn't all grow up in white suburbia, and Christmas, though dominant in U.S. December, isn't the whole population's holiday. However, because the story provides a genuine sentiment, I think there's something relatable for all in the narrative. Unlike the Peanuts Christmas, which ends with a Bible quote, A Christmas Story ends more on the note of family togetherness. Christmas provides a backdrop, but is not what the movie is about. This isn't Ralphie finds the true meaning of Christmas. This is the joys, tears, and life-altering disappointments of childhood, December edition. If nothing else, the movie isn't meant to encapsulate the entire seasonal experience. After all, it's in the title. This isn't an absolute end-of-discussion tale of the season. No one film could do that. This is just a Christmas story.